heard something going, deep bass, mammal, guttural, whoa, 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 whoa. I actually complete the scan all the way to my left, and then out of nowhere appears this Sasquatch. It didn't walk from behind one tree. It appeared out of thin air. Boom, there it was. It was like it was cloaked, and then it uncloaked. That's when I saw, Bigfoot walk off the pages of myth and legend into reality. Well, first of all, when I saw it, everything I knew about the outdoors came crashing down my cognitive schema because I didn't have anything in all my years of being out in the woods and the mountains to hang that one on. And then I felt my brain reboot, and then protective instincts kick in, and then I got my family out of there. And for 11 years, I pounded my head against the brick wall. Not one video. They were gently tossed rocks that were landing by our feet, saying hello. We could see the silhouettes coming in. You could hear them walking in. And then, actually, we're surrounded by 5 of them, and then within an hour, one of them walked right up toward us. So I tell a story that I'm looking from my right to my left, and then I say out of the left corner of my eye, I see movement. So I'm in shock. My cognitive schema is crashing, and I'm running down through the brush, and I'm looking at it, and it hears me coming down. It didn't see me because I was behind a natural blind. It turns and it looks at me, and I see an oh shit look on its face, like where'd he come from? And then it disappears. It vanishes. I hit the trail, I get up to my family, and I am moving them. Go now. And the reason why I was so emotional when I tell the story is because at that point, I knew nothing about Sasquatches at all. And here one was, and that, for a newbie, can be terrifying enough when you don't know anything about how gentle and docile they are. And I know that now, but I didn't know that then. But then the second thing was, it appeared out of nowhere, and it vanished into nowhere. And how on God's green earth am I supposed to protect my family from something like that? Affirm that. I have seen them cloaked. And the one that walked up to us last September, when we were surrounded by 5 of them, and then an hour later, one of them started walking toward us, and, my buddy was there with Cynthia and I, and he was going, Doc, it's coming at us, it's coming at us. And I stand up, and it's walking toward us. We see it cloak, it cloaks, and you can see the footsteps coming, you can see the brush moving, you can hear it coming, but you can't see it. And then it bumps me, my left shoulder as it walks by, spins me around, and walks back into the trees and the brush behind us. One of the guys took out his cell phone camera and started snapping pictures. And later on, you look at the cell phone pictures, and you can kind of see an outline of a squatch there in the trees, kind of like in Predator, that, kind of masked itself, cloaked itself in the jungles in that Arnold Schwarzenegger movie. And one of those, I think they bend light when they do that. And one of those pictures he took, you can see a reflection of him, from his nose up, his mouth, his nose, his eyes, his hat, the brim of the hat, and him holding with his hand the cell phone. You can see a reflection off the Squatch's head of himself when he took the picture. So I think they can bend light to cloak themselves. I don't think they shift to another dimension, but clearly I have seen them cloaked a few times.
This is amazing stuff, Matt.
I've decided, what, I'm just going to be open about it, and it is about the truth, and, I'm not going to hide it anymore, and it's what I'm haven't even told you about the mind speak, which is another aspect of it.
You hear them speaking to you in your head?
Yeah, the story is a little detailed, and one of the times I rolled over was around 2 in the morning. And I'm laying there and I'm listening, and all of a sudden I hear this heavy bipedal footsteps coming into camp and behind the tent where our heads are. And all of a sudden I feel myself going into a trance, kind of like when you're being anesthetized going into surgery. You're not quite asleep, but you can start to feel your body go in that direction, but you're not out yet. And I feel myself being put into a trance. Then all of a sudden, I feel the hand slide under my head, between my head and the pillow. And then all of a sudden, my memories from childhood start flashing before my eyes. And this is going on for several minutes. And then I find myself in my mind fighting to detach, to unhook. In my mind, I'm exercising all the strength I can to disconnect. And I finally am able to pull it off. And in my mind, I'm going, this isn't fair, this isn't right. And then I hear this voice in my mind, and keep in mind the hand is still under my head. And I hear this voice say, what? What isn't fair? And I said, you get to know everything about me, but I don't get to know anything about you. You're not going to continue to read my mind unless I get to know some things about you. And then the response was, I need to speak with the elders first. And I said, okay. So then the hand slides out from underneath my head, and then I hear it walk away. Well, needless to say, I am wide awake, and I am laying there going, what the heck just happened? And he said he's going to go speak with the elders, which means they're going to be coming back. So I lay awake for about 2 hours, and it's about 4 in the morning, and then I hear 2 sets of heavy-footed bipedal steps walking back into camp behind the tent where our heads are. And then all of a sudden, I feel myself going into a trance again. And this time, a much larger hand slides under my head, between my head and the pillow. And by the way, don't ask me how they reached through the tent wall, because it's freaking crazy. Doesn't make any sense, but they did it. And the only thing I can associate with that are the psychic surgeons that I've seen on TV in the Philippines, where they can reach into a human body and do psychic surgery and then withdraw their hands and not leave a hole in the human body. So that's the only thing I can liken it to. But anyway, this very large hand is under my head. It's very gentle, and I am holding on to its pinky with my left hand. And I hear, and I'm in this trance, and I hear this voice from the adult saying, my son said you had some questions. And I said, yes. What is he doing? Why is he reading my mind, my memories? And he said, it's our way of knowing what is going on with the human race. And I said, okay. He said, do you have any other questions? And I said, yes. Who are you? And immediately the response was, we are the descendants of Cain. We are our brother's keeper. And we are the guardians of the forest. And we are here to protect all who dwell within.
Matt, that is some amazing stuff.
That's all
You're a psychologist, Matt.
I know. I am a psychologist, and I'm not crazy. This really happened, and I have no reason to make this up. You tell
No, not at all.
Why? Why would I make this up? Why would I be saying this? I have no reason to be doing that. This happened, and that's what was said.
Be some heavy biblical stuff, and here's what I wrestle with, Matt, as a Christian who goes to church every Sunday. People, how do we talk to our Christian friends about this without being shunned?
Getting back to, we are the descendants of Cain, and I want to add, he was really quick to say, and we are our brother's keeper. I think he was making it clear to me that we're out to right the wrong that Cain committed when he killed Abel, when he was mouthing off to God saying, who am I, my brother's keeper? He was saying, we are our brother's keeper, and we are the guardians of the forest, and we're here to protect all who dwell within. After I had that encounter, that mind-speak encounter, we are the descendants of Cain, I went back home after that and opened up my Bible to the Old Testament to the book of Genesis chapter 2, where, Cain finally comes to grips with that God knows he killed Abel, and God curses Cain, and then all of a sudden Cain changes his attitude from one of defiance to one of pleading for mercy and, please protect me. And so God marked Cain, it says in Genesis 2. He marked Cain and he sent him out to wander the earth. If that doesn't sound like a splotch, I don't know what it sounds like.
Have you been shunned by other Bigfoot researchers who might themselves be well known because of your position, or have you just not talked about it enough yet to get a reaction?
Paranormal position. There's two things. Number one, when I came out and I was a nobody and I wasn't involved in research, but because I was a psychologist who was taking a public position, I shot up to the pinnacle of attention to the media and was on all kinds of TV shows and radio interviews. And there were some Bigfoot researchers, I'm not going to say most or all, just some, a few, a minority, who were jealous, who were upset, who were vicious, who were attacking because they weren't getting the attention that I was getting. And now I'm coming out of the gates with my Saul persecuting the Christians, the paranormalists, you idiots, quit talking about this stuff, to the reality of, I saw the light on the road at Damascus, and I'm a convert, and this is my first public position I've taken. Bigfoot camp down on the southern Oregon coast last year, and Peter Byrne was there. And we shared our experience about being surrounded by 5 of them, and then one came walking toward us and bumped me and spun me around, and Peter Byrne, rolled his eyes and got up and walked away. And
did he really?
The sad thing is that man has dedicated his life toward Bigfoot research, and I don't believe he's ever even seen one. And yet he's so close-minded. He is so close-minded and arrogant about what's going on out there that the sad thing is I don't think he's ever going to see one because he refuses to open up his mind and accept what's going on. We have closed off our minds and our hearts to what they are able to experience out there in the woods.
Dr. Matthew Johnson, he's not only seen Bigfoot, Bigfoot has talked to him in his head and disappeared, as from time to time we hear about in the Bigfoot circles, but for some reason are afraid to talk about.